Guess how much this PC cost? $8,000. Yeah, it's $8,000. I chose to build it when it was at its most expensive. Chelsea, why did you build this? That's half a year's rent. Because it's a gift for my husband. I'm replacing his gross PC since he hasn't had a new computer in 8 years. His 1080 Ti put in so much work, and it's time to put it out to pasture. This is what love looks like. My wallet suffered. Every time it gets near this computer, it starts to sweat. The timing could not have been worse. Why are builds so expensive? While I build this computer, we'll talk about rising PC prices, what consumers are being forced to do now, and the future of PC building, as I see it. Let's get started on this $8,000 build. We're gonna start with our CPU. I'm gonna put in our AMD Ryzen 9 9950 X3D processor. Not to be confused with the X3D2, which is very pricey for not a good reason. This CPU won the Golden Joystick Award with 16 cores, 32 threads, and up to 5.7 gigahertz max boost clock. I bought it at $675.79 in March. A year from today, as I'm filming this, it was actually about the same price. But the lowest it ever dropped was about $575. And I think the reason why is that people were getting it confused with the X3D2, and that CPU had really bad PR, so it drove the price down for anything that shared the name. So, sorry, AMD. The RAM I have in question, the G-Skill Trident Z5 Neo RGB series DDR5 RAM, which is 64 gigs in total, 2 32 gig sticks, and it cost $949.99 when I bought it. A year ago, this kit was about $214.99. Wild. What a price jump. As for storage, we'll be installing 16 terabytes of Samsung and Crucial SSDs. This Samsung SSD cost me almost $1,600. Almost a year ago when it released, it was $999, but I actually got in right before the biggest jump. Right now, it costs $2719.99 for one stick. Let that sink in. The Crucial SSDs were $538.85 each, but this is after there was a price drop about a year ago. The highest prices were $859.99. Yeah. Okay, so let's finally talk about the motherboard. It was actually more expensive last year, but it recently returned to its original price of $999. It is the MSI Meg X870E Godlike motherboard. And she means what her name says. It's simply an expensive motherboard overall. Let's break it down, actually. The Godlike motherboard that is sitting in this computer features a 10-layer server-grade PCB with premier copper for heat dissipation, smart power stages for intense overclocking, and heat pipes designed for further thermal management. It has one of the largest power rails I've ever seen. It supports 4 slots of DDR5 with a max of 9,000 megahertz and tons of M.2 slots. Lots of storage. It also has 2 hot swappable Gen 5 NVMe SSD slots on top of all of that. I don't know what my husband needs with all of that. I just hope we don't end up on a list later. It's builder friendly, reducing clutter with a control hub, PCIe release latch, and a built-in almost 4-inch full-color LCD screen meant to monitor hardware, BIOS updates, and it's customizable. I'll put some GIFs of me on there. Now that we've put everything together on the motherboard, let's put it all in our case. The Fractal Design North XL ATX. I love this case. I reviewed it on IGN's Budget to Best, and I still love it all these years later. It looks sleek, has excellent cooling, and tons of room. It's exactly what my husband wanted. There wasn't much of a price change here. I just wanted to highlight it. Let's install all of these Noctua fans and put in our PSU. Specifically, the Thermaltake Tough Power 1650 watt 80 plus gold power supply. It recently had a slight price drop, but nothing major here. We also have a Noctua CPU cooler to install, so let's get to it. It's huge. This CPU cooler was huge, and I had to adjust the fan height so it wouldn't hit the RAM, but other than that, I just had to install some extension cables, and everything worked out. I'm honestly so glad I didn't have to install an AIO. Fan coolers are so much simpler. Finally, the GPU. the PNY OC GeForce RTX 5080 16 gig card. I bought this at $1210. Last year, it was about $999. I've seen some wild price markers that said this GPU went up to like $1,700 at its peak. Now, if we had bought this PC last year, we would have paid 40% less. This PC would have cost me $5,500 instead of $8K. I could have saved myself over $2,000. That's $2,500. That's a lot of rent. Let's just paint the picture here, all right? The more important thing is this scales for most PCs across the board, from novice to enthusiast. Let's just use my computer as a general example. Entry PCs used to cost about $800, for a decent entry PC. And you can still do that, but you're really skimping in today's world. Now, if you add a 40% increase, that means the entry PC can now cost up to $1,120. Take a look at the Steam machine, which is effectively an entry-level PC. It ranges from $1,000 to $1,350. I know you gotta include the controller and all that, I don't get why everybody was so surprised. Y'all saw y'all saw how expensive PC components are. While there are better entry-level PC examples, it shows how expensive these computers have gotten. I'm hoping to do my own benchmark video on the Steam machine since I made it on the Steam waitlist last week. So, wish me luck. Well, Chelsea, why is everything getting so expensive? Let's talk about that. The simplest answer, it's AI and the data centers that come with it. How did that happen? Well, big business believes AI is the future of the modern workforce. In order to build this timeline that they imagine in their head, they approach AI companies who promise to produce results if these companies invest billions of dollars first. These other companies hear about their competitors investing in data centers. They all fall in line like lemmings, and they start making deals with AI, companies too. This started the Ramageddon. Remember back last year, in 2025, PC builds weren't that expensive like they are now, but the moment all of these companies like Disney and others approached companies like OpenAI and Sora and whatnot, they started hogging all of the resources. Companies were buying up DRAM and NAND memory, which are, your RAM and SSDs, and that drove up prices quickly. And a large company with billions of dollars like Anthropic, OpenAI, Microsoft are approaching the largest producers of memory and storage like Samsung. They push consumers like us out. They become the market and sign multi-year contracts to secure server-tier RAM and SSDs from these companies, and they starve us out in the meantime. While this is nothing new, it has reached some serious new heights. Yeah, back when crypto, when everybody was trying to get an NFT or something, all RAM went up too then, and every time there's like a lawsuit. There's a lawsuit happening now against, the RAM prices, and this happened back in the night. I'll show y'all some articles. So, what do we do now? I've seen people start on Cyberdex. The search literally shot up. It's cute, it's portable, you can stylize it. If you have pre-existing parts, you can build them for much cheaper than an entry-level PC. I don't think it's like a replacement though. It feels like a handheld game. Either way, people are happy with them. Building it cheaper is a big if. People are picking up pre-builts where they can, or they're using older parts. Pre-builts are honestly a great choice right now since companies have already bought the parts in bulk and can still sell them to the public at a somewhat reasonable price. But they are skimping on memory. So, yeah, keep that in mind. If you're tight on cash but need a new gaming PC, specifically, DDR4 RAM is still very competitive if you pair it with a fast GPU. But the fact that these are virtually our only options is a scary thing. We're in a technical drought. On that note, let's talk about the future. what are we in for? We will most likely be at a loss for parts until AI demand dies down in 2028. There's even a possibility that prices can keep going up. If you're happy with your current setup, do everything you can to keep it in tip-top shape. If you unfortunately need to upgrade, I'd triage your parts and see which ones are still usable. If you pick up a pre-built, maybe you can supplement the not-so-nice parts and come out on top with a competitive build. You don't want to end up like me, spending 40% more on a new setup. That was over $2,000 more. That's a lot of nice dinners. Oh my God, I'm hungry. A note to help you keep an eye out on RAM. You can look up spot memory prices to help predict when DRAM is going to increase or decrease on DRAMexchange.com. I'm sure there are other exchanges you can check out. That's just where I frequent. You know what pisses me off? Companies like Micron out here betraying their consumers. They literally discontinued their 29-year-old Crucial brand, which is in this build, by the way, just because it was more lucrative to sell to an AI company. And that's where we're at with PC builds in 2026. I hope you're treating your hardware nice. Greed continues to ruin the planet, and I hope we can wake up sooner than later. If you want to see the damage up close and personal, my link breaks down the full price of this build in my description. Her benchmarks are in there too, so if you want to see how she runs, I got you. I showed you my build, so tell me about yours. Have you built something this year? I want to hear about how much did it cost you. Don't forget to follow me on all platforms for more PC build insights. Be good, make good choices, and I'll see you on the next one.